Hey, how does Walmart know what I'm buying in cash? I got an email from them this afternoon that says, hey, can you rate this product that you purchased recently? And I did purchase that product recently from Walmart. I bought it in cash, right? I walked to the electronics section and bought a USB charging cable with cash and then walked out. And I know that the first, you've already started typing. It's the Walmart app on your phone, you moron. That is a fair assumption. I do not have the Walmart app on my phone. I have never had the Walmart app on my phone. And further, I did not have my phone with me on this trip. Here's how I know I didn't have my phone with me on this trip. I remember specifically talking to the employee in the back of the electronics section and trying to explain specifically which USB connector I was looking for. And I couldn't explain it well. And so I tried to pull my phone out to show the gentleman what I was looking for, and I didn't have my phone on me. And so I had to continue my game of terrible charades and torture this poor guy until he finally was like, well, look, here's what we've got. And then I was able to find what I needed. But the point being, my phone was not on my person. I don't think I even had my headphones on my person. I didn't have any electronic devices on me. So how does Walmart know what I purchased in cash?
Now to your money, and more supermarkets are using digital ads, meaning the price you pay can change several times per day.
The price of your groceries may soon change right in front of your eyes. A glimpse of what shoppers could soon see is already on display in Europe, where the Wall Street Journal found prices at some grocery stores can change up to 100 times per day. The technology behind it? Digital shelf labels, small electronic screens that can instantly display new prices at the push of a button, and they're being used more and more across the U.S. Walmart has installed digital tags in more than 400 locations, with plans to reach 2,300 stores by next year. Kroger and Whole Foods are expanding pilot programs as well. It's fueling fears of surge pricing.
Like charging more for ice cream when it's a hot day or for an umbrella when it's a rainy day.
Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey have sent a letter to Kroger warning the labels could be used to squeeze consumers to increase profits. But the company insists the labels won't be used for surge pricing. Companies say the tags help cut back on time-consuming labor. Walmart says it used to take 2 full days to update prices across the store. With digital tags, just minutes.
Sometimes a lot of these folks are only working 20, 25 hours a week. This is a heavy, labor-intensive job.
In a recent study, researchers found virtually no surge pricing after electronic labels were installed, finding the labels actually increase the likelihood of consumers getting discounts. But skepticism remains. Maine and Rhode Island have introduced bills to limit the use of digital labels. And in Arizona, a state lawmaker introduced a bill to ban digital tags entirely.
One expert says he expects the pricing changes will be infrequent or outside of store hours.
That the popular retail store Target is secretly collecting customers' data, this time using your face. A class action lawsuit filed in Illinois alleges that the company is violating state privacy laws and is collecting this data without their customers knowing it, potentially putting them at risk of identity theft. Kelsey Kernstein joins us live from outside of a Target in Chicago. So, Kelsey, I'm curious, when are they collecting this data? Who's at risk?
Hey there, Kelly. Yeah, if this is true, this is really quite shocking. So what I can tell you, according to this lawsuit, it alleges that anyone who walks in and out of a Target store like this one across the country, that they are collecting biometric information and they're storing it into their facial recognition system, and they're doing it without customer consent. And here in Illinois and several other states across the country, that is illegal. And so the suit is wanting the company to pay up. To tell you a little bit more about this suit was filed back in March, and it says that Target is equipped with state-of-the-art facial recognition technology in all of its stores to reduce theft. But the suit alleges that this surveillance system goes way beyond preventing theft. It even details TikTok accounts dedicated to customers and ex-employees discussing the company's surveillance systems and their concerns about it. Here's where Target could be penalized. According to the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act, passed back in 2008, biometrics are biologically unique to individuals. Once compromised, the individual has no recourse, is at heightened risk for identity theft. The law clearly states that companies in the state can't collect or store biometric data without notice and consent. And what's interesting to point out here is that in other states like Texas, New York, Vermont, and Washington, they also have similar laws in place. And for every violation, the lawsuit is wanting Target to pay upwards of $5,000. And if we really break this down, this could be hundreds, if not thousands, of violations. We have reached out to Target for comment. We've not heard back. And that next court date, Kelly, it is set for July.
Today is Super Saturday, the last Saturday before Christmas. It's predicted to be the second busiest shopping day of the year. If you're going online to buy some last-minute gifts, there's a chance the price you'll pay will be influenced by what's known as surveillance pricing. That's the practice of some retailers to use the power of AI to sift all sorts of personal data to set individualized prices online. Things like your age, gender, geographic location, and even browsing history could change the price you pay. Ali Rogan spoke with Jay Stanley, Senior Policy Analyst for the Speech, Privacy, and Technology Project at the ACLU.
Thank you so much for joining us. So what is surveillance pricing and how does it work?
Surveillance pricing is basically when companies gather a huge amount of data about their individual customers, and we're living in an era where more data is being collected about us than ever before. Companies take that data and they use it to try to figure out basically how to wring more money out of you when you buy things from them. What is your pain point? What are you willing to pay? Questions like that. And there's a widespread experimentation happening with that kind of pricing in a number of business sectors today.
So what are some examples of that? How are these companies using the massive amounts of data that exist about all of us online to give us these, I've heard it described as like personalized pricing?
I mean, right off the bat, there's a lot we don't know because, number one, they're going to claim trade secrets. Number two, they're using AI, which is very opaque in the first place. Even the businesses may not understand what the logic of the AI they're using is. But this first came into public attention when the president of Delta Airlines, speaking to investors, said that they were planning on using AI to set an increasing proportion of their prices, their airline prices, and that they would use personal information about people to do so. That created a bit of an uproar in Congress and elsewhere, and Delta backed off and said, no, we're not going to do this. But it really put the issue, which has been out there for 10, 15 years on a low-key level, really put it into the headlines recently. And so we're seeing attention by Congress, by state legislatures, by the Federal Trade Commission, and others. There was a recent report that Instacart has been doing differential pricing. A consumer group did a test, and they found that 75% of the products on Instacart were getting set with different prices with different people, with some of the prices 23% higher than for some people than for others. The Wall Street Journal has reported that retailers like Home Depot were setting different prices for different customers, with customers in affluent areas actually getting charged less. I think that there's a lot we don't know about what's happening, but it's definitely going on.
What is the difference between this type of surveillance pricing and some other examples and types of differential pricing that we've seen out there already, like dynamic pricing?
I think that the core element of surveillance pricing or personalized pricing is that it's based on data they have about you. It's different from, charging more for an umbrella when it's raining. It's different from Uber charging different prices at different times of day, depending on the amount of demand for their cars. Although there have been allegations that Uber, for example, charges more to people whose battery's about to die and things like that. That would be personalized pricing. Uber has denied that. There can be very complex and sometimes subtle differences among the different types of pricing, and that can make it complicated. But at the end of the day, they have a lot more information about the way the world works, about how different people react to different pricing than any individual does. And they are seeking to use that advantage in information against individuals.
But all of this is legal, right? And the corollary question to that is, what regulations exist or should exist to put some guardrails around this practice?
It's not totally clear that it's legal. It's a bit of a legal gray area. There are, for example, privacy laws, state privacy laws, such as California's, that may have things to say about this and the way data is used. There are civil rights laws that have to do with discrimination based on ethnicity, religion, age, gender, disability status could get a company in hot water if what they're doing starts to implicate those things. There are state consumer laws, and then there's the Federal Trade Commission, which has a charge to go after deceptive and unfair trade practices. And there could be claims that some of these fall under that. And in fact, the FTC has been investigating this. They did an investigation, a report last January. And there's a Reuters report that they're looking at it again under the current administration. So if you're a business that are doing this, you are not necessarily on solid legal ground.
Is there anything that consumers can do to protect themselves from the possibility of being targeted with surveillance pricing?
It's difficult. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of these are bigger than any one of us. They're social questions. For example, I mean, one of the big problems here is that so much data about us is being collected and flowing to the companies that give them advantages over us. And that's because Congress has failed to pass an overarching privacy law, as almost all the other sort of advanced industrial countries have done. That would cut off the flow of data at the source that is fueling this kind of strategy. But certainly you can do your best to hide your identity when you're searching for prices. You can do your best to protect your privacy and be aware of it and you know, check and see whether people you know are getting charged the same price.
Jay Stanley with the ACLU, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey out there, this is Buzz with TheSurvivalBuzz. Hope everybody's doing good out there this evening. You know, AI and facial recognition have been out there for quite some time. When I started looking at some news videos and stuff for this video, I mean, some of them date back 6-7 years or so, so this is nothing new under the sun. But this stuff is definitely getting more advanced, and like the recent video I made where people are being falsely accused of crimes and things from AI video technology. And then the biometrics type stuff, the wearables and stuff that I just made a video about, you know, being able to read people's minds and stuff with some of this technology. I mean, it's getting more and more advanced as days go by. And you've seen the video of the guy at Walmart bought something with cash. Somehow it knew what he bought, even though it didn't even have his phone on him. I've actually had a recent occurrence like that myself. And I'm curious if any of you guys have anything similar like that to add. If so, leave it down in the comment box. But yeah, I recently got an email, a few of them actually, about the things that I bought at Walmart, how I liked my purchases. So it's tracking our every move. And funny enough, I actually tried to leave a review on one of those items just to tell Walmart how I really felt, a very lengthy review on how I didn't appreciate them tracking me and such. And it wouldn't let me leave the review. No matter what I did, try to shorten it, take some words out, whatever it was, would not let me read the review. It was almost like it was trying to protect Walmart from telling people about those such things. So I'm curious if you guys have had anything similar happen, like me and that gentleman in the video. Please let me know. But they are tracking our every move. And then now with the price gouging, depending on your social status, where you live, what store you're in, and even online purchases and things, whether it be food, clothing, airlines, whatever it may be, they are price gouging depending on your social status and where you live and such things. So, and I can only foresee that stuff getting worse and worse. I mean, imagine, you know, as bad as the world's getting, and then accessibility to food items and things, you know, down the line in the future getting worse. They can basically price us out of even buying things, which is all the more important why we should not put off now what we can do today as far as putting back food and things. And I realize, you know, things are getting very expensive and it's getting harder and harder to put extra things back. But if you are capable, a few extra bucks here and there, a bag of rice here, a few extra canned goods can go a long way. Because, man, as this stuff advances, you know, food is the main concern now. I don't fly or anything. I buy very little other than food. That's probably where I splurge the most in my life. But we need to be putting things back for a rainy day because, you know, they might make it where you can't buy things at some point. You know, with the mark of the beast, this whole beast system coming into play, there's going to come a day, let me tell you, that you're not going to be able to buy or sell. And along with having things put back for a rainy day, being able to feed yourself and your families, we need to be learning all the skills and things right now. And I've been screaming this forever on this channel, that we need to have the ability to provide for ourselves when those food supplies do run out, even the extra things we have put back, you know. But at the bare minimum, you should have some long-term food storage, some beans and rice at bare minimum, some canned goods and things to get you and your family by when things get crazy out there. But you also need to be able to produce things for yourself. You know, if you have the ability to have a small garden, or even if you don't, you know, there are certain things you can grow indoors. You know, people seem to act like you have to have all this money to buy a chicken coop. You have to have all this money to buy all these special hydroponics and things. You don't. You really don't. Most of the things that I build for my chickens and stuff are with scrap things I have laying around the house. I don't spend a lot of money on all that. And the same thing with the gardening. I mean, if you're thrifty and really know what you're doing, it's not that hard. So do a little bit of research. You know, you can get free buckets to grow things in from grocery stores even. I acquired a ton of them years ago from a bakery and a grocery store. They were just giving them to me for free. So, and you can produce mulch and different things. I mean, there's more than I want to even go into on this video of things that you can do for free or next to nothing to help prepare for everything coming. And, you know, some of these channels, these prepper channels and things, want to tell you you need generators and all this stuff. And although those items are great, you know, I have some, but even if you're unable to buy things like that, don't get discouraged, you know. Just learning some skill sets, some basic gardening and things, and having some livestock, even if it's just a couple chickens for eggs and things, can really go a long way when you don't have a lot of money to throw around. So the time to prepare is now, guys. And the biggest prep with that is your faith in Jesus Christ. You know, you need to be able to have nothing but faith in the Lord to provide for you. Now, that doesn't mean we just lay down and don't prepare for things. He's given us this ability to put food and things back and learn skill sets so that we can provide for our families. But if you don't have faith in him and that he will provide and that you could move mountains with that faith, everything else doesn't even matter. So the time to get your houses in order and prepare are now, because these AI systems aren't slowing down. And maybe you guys are getting tired of some of these videos, but I'm putting it out there how advanced these systems and things are now, and how quickly everything is rapidly moving along. And then with war going on everywhere and sleeper cells, I mean, you name it, there's just so much going on that at any given moment, all the luxuries that we have, all the abilities we have to go to the grocery store or not be priced out of the grocery store, or even, you know, locked out of the system like they're doing in places like China, our days are numbered for all this. So the time to get prepared and get your house in order is right now. It's not tomorrow, it's right now. So God bless y'all, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Later.